You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Hi everyone, welcome to Potluck Food Talks, the show where we make fun of ourselves while we talk about food, recipes, restaurants, and the most infamous chef on earth. How was that? Is it better? Am I getting better with these intros or?
Yeah, it's good. I just don't know. I didn't realize that we were degrading ourselves on this episode. Don't remember signing a waiver for that.
We're continuing with the questions. There's still plenty of questions around here. Mona El Sabahi asks, how do you feel about serving non-crispy chicken skin? Consider Hainanese chicken. Can figure out my own stance.
And I like this question because we're like fixed on so many things. Like, oh, this has to be crispy. This has to be brown. Green things have to be bright green, you know. And it's like, no, it doesn't, you know. I really love the example of like with the greenness, you know, like these like spinach dishes from India where the spinach is like cooked for a really long time. It's like army green. It's fucking delicious. And it's like, would this dish be better if it was like bright green? It's like, no, it wouldn't. It's good the way that it is. So yeah, Hainanese chicken, delicious.
Yeah, this is, I think, Singapore's most iconic dish because there was a lot of Hainanese migrants to, and is it famous? Is it chicken rice or rice chicken? I always say it wrong.
Chicken rice.
Chicken rice is a famous chicken rice you find in Singapore. For me, it's like the perfect way of boiling chicken. You know, like having like a nice boiled chicken boiled nicely, like they do. You know, like where you cut it and it's just perfect amount of, you know, it's still like a little bit pink but not too much. You know, like and ultra juicy. There's just nothing better in life, I guess. I don't know why I had the idea that this chicken would be skinless, but now I Googled it and yeah, most pictures are with skin.
100%.
I remember that having that in Singapore, and it's just amazing. You know, like I guess my answer is, again, it depends on the context. You know, like and a good example of this is ajo blanco, which is this almond gazpacho that you find here. You do it with the almonds white without roasting them, and it should be like that. And if you roast them, because some people say you should always roast almonds because you will get the most flavor out of it. Yeah, but roasted almond milk is crap because it tastes like, I don't know, like something that was roasted and then it's wet. Like it's weird. Like, you know, like I'm not saying that's wrong because that's what you do with a chicken juice, basically. But with almonds, I don't feel it just doesn't work. I mean, also, like, there's this dirty trick of making, like, empanadas filling stews, where you boil the chicken and you take all the chicken skin that is boiled and soft, and you cut it ultra small, so people won't even notice it's inside the mixture, and you blend it into whatever, like a reina pepiada, for example, which is basically chicken, mayo and avocado.
Yeah, I totally agree. It really depends on the context. Like, for example, Hainanese chicken skin. I love the skin on the chicken. When you take a good chicken and you pour hot water over the skin to firm it up first, right? And then you let it kind of like air dry and then you sort of poach it. Then you get the slice with super juicy meats and like a little layer of very bouncy chicken skin. It's kind of a texture that in the West maybe we're not so, I mean, referring to you and me, not so used to, but that you can very much appreciate for what it is. And it's just a different style of making that. So I feel very, very good about it if it's done correctly.
Directed by Xander.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. What a stupid name to write a question.
Get out of here.
What is the least intuitive recipe or cooking technique you've come across? Something that might go against common sense cooking logic, but works surprisingly well.
Oh, I have a good one for this. So, I mean, first of all, any Mugarit's recipe, basically. But I came across a recipe not too long ago, last year, which when I read it, I was like, that's fucking bullshit. And now it's one of my favorite recipes. So this is a recipe for a filling for a lemon pie. It's a lemon custard filling. And so what you do, this is a recipe that was passed to me by Katie. It's originally from Gordon Ramsay. And it's my favorite citrus filling, like pie filling recipe now. It's so fucking easy. Basically, you take your citrus juice, can be whatever, can be lemon, can be a mix of lime. I used to do it with yuzu or like grapefruit. Super nice. Citrus juice in a pot. Citrus zest, same pot. Sugar, get in there. You take your butter, fucking throw it in the pot. You put the pot on the stove, you bring it to a boil. In the next bowl, you have eggs, beaten eggs. Once the liquid comes to a boil, you pour the egg into the mixture. You stir it in. You boil the thing again, like proper boil. And then you tour mix it with a hand blender, like, and blend it fine. And straight away, when it's hot, fill it into your tart shells. So when I read this recipe, I was sort of like, wait, you just add the butter into the citrus juice. You boil all the citrus juice, which for me is like first red flag. Boiling the citrus juice going to remove all the freshness. Yeah, don't like that. Then the butter just goes in. It's a lot of butter, right? So, okay, all the butter's going to melt. What's going to happen with that? I'm not going to like emulsify it in or whatever, like I do with a beurre blanc, with an emulsion. Third red flag, and I think the biggest red flag is like, wait, I'm going to pour the beaten egg into this boiling mixture. I'm going to boil it again for like a 10-second window. It's going to make fucking disgusting lemon juice scrambled eggs.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I was wrong. It's there's a thing because of the sugar and like the citrus juice that the eggs, they don't really curdle, and they don't develop this eggy flavor, and it makes this most perfect like silky. It's like set, so you can cut slices, but it's like just like the perfect sort of texture, this perfect like lemony acidity, sweetness. It's absolutely amazing, this recipe.
Okay. So by the way, it was a joke about the stupid name. It's a beautiful name, Alexander.
It's a really great name, Thunder.
This way of cooking pasta that I thought once, I think it's amazing. It's super interesting and super counterintuitive. So basically, you're cooking your, let's say, a tomato sauce, right? You sweat some onions, you add your tomatoes, you cook it a little bit, whatever. You have it almost done. It's already reduced, everything, like well caramelized and everything. So imagine you have like a very broad...
A sautoir.
Anyways, one where your spaghettis fit into the whole pot at once, okay? So you have your sauce there, and you throw the spaghettis into the sauce. And once you have that, you add, let's say, about 4 or 5 fingers of water. Okay, so you have this watery tomato sauce, and you bring it to a boil. And you cook the shit out of it until all the water is away. It lasts like 20 to 25 minutes, which is completely counterintuitive because your intuition will tell you pasta will be completely overcooked by the time 25 minutes are gone. But no, because I guess it's not the same cooking it in just water than cooking it in a saucy water. So like the pasta doesn't get as soft as it would be like cooking it 20 minutes in just water. But after
Really?
20, yeah. And at the end, no, it's like a completely al dente pasta that was cooked in the sauce. You never pass it or anything. So you have like this, almost like cooking a risotto, where you're adding the water by little. So you're moving it. So, and also the starches of the pasta help to make the whole sauce sticky. Super interesting.
That's crazy because like if somebody, some random person, NPC would tell me like, hey, I cook pasta like this, I would say, you're a lunatic. You need to be locked away. Don't talk to me ever again. Right? Because it sounds crazy. It's sort of like, I put the pasta in. I cook it for 25 minutes. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face. But that's crazy. I have to try that out.
Yeah, it's a very interesting recipe. And you know what? Like, I remember once our beloved chef Michel Hoffman said, yeah, when I worked at Ducasse, we would make staff meal like that. We would do pasta like that, cooking it like a risotto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the first time I heard about that was in a Ferran Adrià home cooking video that was awful. Like it was this video where it was completely, badly act. He would be like, "Hey, surprise! Let's," it was
Oh
Ferran Adrià.
no, that
Yeah, I
sort
think it's
of
home cooking with Ferran Adrià or something like that. It was in the early 2000s, and yeah, where he would make like tortilla with back fries or things like this, or this kind of pasta, or something I do quite oftenly, and people think I'm a lunatic, which is treating salad like spinach. A bag of mesclun, throwing it to a pan and cooking it like a wok.
it's quite nice. I like that also. Yeah,
So Spice Mode 88 asks,
nice name.
what's a food trend you secretly wish would just disappear, and one you hope never fades?
You're not gonna like this. I wish this whole like alchemist sort of like thing would just go away. This whole like, oh, there's like a big eyeball displayed on my plate, and I don't know, man.
Why I'm not liking this?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. It's just like every time I see that, I'm like, I have no interest in like going to eat there. But maybe I'm just too boring because like a food trend that I never want to disappear is I never want classic cooking to disappear ever, ever. Like I don't cook classic food like regularly, in a restaurant anyway. At home I do. But I love the fact that there's places like Kong Hans Kelde. I love like certain bistros, like, I mean, like we're talking about Copenhagen now, like Bistro Bohème. I fucking love that. I love people doing saumonier, but like very, very well. And just keeping these things alive. All these things that shape the cooking that we do nowadays, even if it's like modern and new interpretations, I really love that. But this whole gimmick thing is not my style. I get that. It's the style for a lot of other people. But for me, it could just disappear.
I completely agree with you. Not on the alchemist part, maybe not me. Like I do like this kind of places when they're properly executed. I mean, if you go one of these places, like I would have to be a millionaire to spend that money for a dinner. But if I go to these places and they really impress you, like you really go away mind blown, I think that's nice. I don't like. I don't. I wish the classics never disappear. I wish, like a couple of weeks ago, I was in Sitges, and there was this place that they really showcase at the entrance. It says just one of the most touristy villages in Catalonia, which is one of the most touristy places in Europe, and it said American Asian Mediterranean fusion, and it was a sports bar. I wish this kind of places to burn, to be honest. Like that's basically my opinion on that.
I get that. I have one additional answer that I want to throw in there. There's these particular type of places that unironically serve like trashy things. Like I'm not talking trashy like burgers or whatever, but like things sort of like gummy bear worms as part of like a dish. Like these sort of like convenience things or like trashy bad things that don't need to be reinterpreted, like Met Eagle.
What's that?
Anybody listening that doesn't know what a Met Eagle is a German dish that was invented in the East.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a nightmare.
What a nightmare. Anybody that doesn't know what it is, Google it, please. And let me tell you, it has nothing to
Yeah,
do with
it's
German cooking, traditional German cooking.
Mettgel.
Yeah, Met
Met
Eagle.
Eagle.
Met refers to minced meat of sorts, and eagle is a hedgehog. And basically, this is a hedgehog formed out of minced meats that you eat raw. It's like slightly cured. And I'm referencing a specific sort of relatively new place that is famous for making a version of this Met Eagle. And I think that can just go fuck itself. I hate it. I think it's so lazy as a chef because you're just making something for people to talk about. It's not actually like it's not anything.
I don't say in all cases, but in general, this kind of food that makes shapes of animals or of smiley faces or antennas with whatever and eyeballs on top of your cake slice, I hate that shit. I'm not saying maybe someone does. I remember seeing like a Japanese guy that was on the 50 best that he would cut some vegetables like into smileys and put it like in a salad, and that looked really cool. So
That's cute.
I'm not completely closed, but in general, I hate that shit. I really hate it.
I know where you're coming from. I do feel like I have to make a stance and defend dino nuggets. Dinosaur shaped nuggets. Ho- They hold a special place in my heart, and I will always defend them
So next question.
with ketchup.
Knife Game Queen. This is a cool name.
God damn.
Has a dish ever made you cry? As in full on emotional breakdown? What was behind it? I haven't had that experience, to be honest.
I've also not had an experience where I like full on cried. I have like had watery eyes.
Makes me feel like a fucking robot without feelings.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dead inside, nothing really moves you anymore. Um,
I have to live with that shit every day, you know?
I have had moments where I got emotional out of like appreciation for where I am and what I'm doing. Like when like my last trip to Japan was like that, where you sit and you look around yourself and you eat something. You're like, fuck me, that's so good. And you look around yourself and you just have this moment of appreciation of how fortunate you are to be experiencing this right now. I've also had that when my son made me an omelet for the first time. I that was very cool. Yeah.
Or when he asked, Dad, what is koji? He did ask that, didn't he?
You did. You did ask that.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I think not like a dish in particular or like a bite, but more like a whole experience, especially if somebody makes something really special and you say like, well,
Yeah.
this is too much, like and and you take it and you appreciate it. I think that like I've had those moments where it was like, wow, that I'm completely mind blown and like immersed in appreciation to whatever that person did for me.
100%. But that's the cool thing about food, no? It's not just like something that you just shove in your gob and eat. It's a human interaction. It's a gesture of love and nurturing in many cases. And I mean, that's most of the time going to be part of that.
So next question: which culinary myth or rule do you think is complete bullshit? We've mentioned a few, haven't we? Like, yeah, like for example, you should always roast chicken skin. Why? Who's
Yeah.
saying that? You should never add butter to mashed potatoes or olive oil. Like either or both of them are just stupidity into words.
This is debunked already, but I feel like a lot of people still believe it. Sear your meat to lock in the juices. Huh? Is this like, what is it? Is it like a fucking sponge that you like just kind of, what nonsense?
Yeah, or preheat your oven. Who
Hey,
said that?
don't start with that shit again. Is this? it, ma- it makes no sense. Makes no sense. Obviously, it's gonna make a difference.
Okay.
Give me the name of the guy who told you this. I will write
It
him
was
an angry.
Iñaki Alaba. No,
No,
Iñaki, a PhD in physical chemical gastronomy.
no.
That's the same with scientists. Like they destroy religions.
Yeah, basically. Oh, I have a culinary myth that it's not really a myth, but I was talking to somebody about this today. You know, when you see a Japanese chef training for 20 years to make the perfect tempura, that's fucking bullshit, man. No piece of fried anything takes 20 years to master. That's absolute fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. And you also don't need to be washing rice for a whole year. I believe that you can learn, if you dedicate yourself, you can learn all the skills that you need as a sushi chef in the course of 6 months to a year.
Okay. Next question is from someone who put the name Kaiseki Crisis.
Oh, damn. Good usernames today.
Yeah. How do you feel about AI in food? Menus, recipes, even restaurant reviews?
Okay, restaurant reviews, I think there should not be any AI involved because what the fuck is AI reviewing, right?
But that's a thing, you know. Like I know this that most people when people are so lazy nowadays. I mean, like since the launch of ChatGPT, people are using AI to write or read. You know, instead of reading an email, you put it on ChatGPT and yeah, tell me the key ideas. Oh, okay, and then now write an answer. Okay, and you copy paste it and just
Yeah.
write that this restaurant was really nice, say some nice words, and thank you to the chef. Copy paste, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think AI as a tool, great. Like, you know, hey, give me seasonal dish ideas to do with white asparagus and wild garlic, right? And then you have a look and you're sort of like, oh yeah, I can go this direction. You kind of like do something like that, you know? Okay, cool. Do that. Do that. If you don't want to think for yourself, that's all right. You know, if you want to waste fucking resources, then like go for
I
it.
think AI can work for recipes pretty well if you're going into pretty classic stuff. You know, if you ask it like how to boil pasta or how to do a tomato sauce like an arrabbiata, you know, like for that, I'm pretty sure it will give you like a at least valid recipe that will work just fine. You know, like if you go into complex artistic combinations or stuff, it will hallucinate. It will give you AI hallucinations and stuff that just don't make sense. You know, that's. By the way, did you try the baguette recipe I gave you?
I did not. You know why? Because I looked at the recipe and I kind of thought to myself, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. And as I was thinking about it, I realized I needed to go to the bakery to get some of the ingredients. And I was like, hold on, I've got 3 bakers in the bakery. I could just ask, like, why am I making bread myself? I can just tell them to make this bread, right? And so I did. And 2 hours later, I had a sample of a flute and it was really nice.
Ah, okay. You can thank ChatGPT for that one.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah, because you know, like I do remember that was like I remember that like I didn't have the recipe, but I remember at some point I converted that recipe into percentages and I compared it to traditional baguette recipes, and it was like a very standard ratio of percentages. You know, I know that there was nothing crazy in that recipe except for the thing that you would like pre-make like first. So this was a baguette recipe in a restaurant field and I worked, where you would make first the whole dough, right? Like, but just let's say you make 1 kilo of dough, and then the next day you make 5 kilos, and into those 5 kilos you add that 1 kilo. You use it as a mother dough. So like this
A
was
pre-ferment. Yeah.
a pre-ferment, which is in this case the same dough, because in some cases you do like a Polish or a Biga or you name it. There are like this standard pre-ferments.
Yes.
And yeah, and this was like a very nice recipe. I remember the key secret of that baguette was actually the flour. This guy would have like this amazing French flour that he would drive into Berlin. But yeah, so I basically recreated. I asked to do like a very standard French recipe, and I remember while reading the ingredients, it made sense to me. It was like, yeah, it was something like this. So, and if you tell me the result was nice, so there you go.
Yeah, actually, it was just the baguettes that we had, like the dough. But yeah, like, at the end of the day, it was just like a standard baguette recipe, Yeah. But yeah, I think AI, like I think using AI as a tool, good, important also, move with the time. But just don't stop thinking for yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
That's it for this week's episode of Potluck Food Talks. If you like what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok as Potluck Food Talks. The show airs every Monday.